Okay, so I'm making this video on how to beat
This is the request.
the Hound of Hades Howls boss in Persona 5 Strikers. I was having trouble with this boss and I couldn't find any videos on this boss in particular, and so I decided to make it in case anyone else in my place needs help and can't find it, and that's why I'm making this video. This boss in particular is a fire type persona.
This persona
This
is
is
unknown.
this is him. So he's weak to ice, but he drains fire attacks and he's strong against nuclear. Now, this is his moveset obviously, but when you actually fight him, he has a stronger fire attack, and this is what trips me up, because as you know, most ice personas are weak to fire,
Is this
such
okay?
as Lilith, which was one of my strongest ice personas at the time, besides obviously Yusuke, but he's weak to fire too, and so beating him was a little difficult, considering that first of all he's a strong boss, and because most ice using personas are weak to fire, which is his main skill set. So I devised two different strategies to beat him,
You wish to
and they both
strengthen it?
involve personas that nullify fire damage. The first one is the skill card route. Seth is probably the strongest option when it comes to nullifying fire damage. However, he doesn't naturally learn any ice moves, as far as I know. So I lucked out and got a Bufala skill card. I put it on him. We're gonna see how that goes, which is still only medium ice damage. Now, Quimob, on the other hand, nullifies fire damage as well, but just as fusing it, no like skills required to inherit, and knows Mabufala, which also does medium ice damage. It's just the wide area version. So Quimob obviously is a weaker persona than Seth, as you can see, a 10 level difference here just on its own. Although I have leveled up Seth a couple levels, I believe, but there's just a margin in level just in general, and so hopefully this will make the fight easier for Joker. You won't get tripped up as easily with fire attacks, which being knocked down is very frustrating, not being able to switch and pretty much just being a sitting duck and
May
taking a
luck be
lot
on
of
your
damage,
side.
most likely dying in the process. Now, an obvious person you're gonna want on your team is Yusuke, because he specializes in ice damage. What I recommend doing with Yusuke is, first of all, get all his master arts. It'll make this way easier on you. Second of all, get the strongest armor you can for him, so he's taking the least amount of damage possible. And for his accessory, I have agility plus 10, so just so he can dodge more attacks. There's also, you know, reducing fire damage if you have any of those, or nullifying burn. So put whatever accessory you feel comfortable with having on Yusuke. For the bond skills,
Here's what I found.
oops, not that one. For the bond skills, I have endurance and agility boosted quite a bit compared to the other ones, because endurance is obviously going to help you take more hits and not suffer as much damage, which is very important in this fight. And agility is going to help dodge attacks which you normally wouldn't have time to even process to dodge, or might not be able to dodge right away. You end up getting hit by it, you're probably weak to it, blah blah blah, bunch of mess you don't want to be in. So with that out of the way, let me show you where this boss is actually located, because this is also obviously an important part to fighting him, and some of these bosses can be a little tricky to locate. Thankfully, this guy isn't too hard to find if you know where to look. Okay, so you're gonna want to go to Joji Zoo. No idea if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry to anyone who just cringed at that mispronunciation if it was mispronounced. But where you want to go is
This may be
right
relevant
behind
to my
you.
interests.
There's gonna be some shadows here, so if you want to, you can take them out. I'm not sure if it's possible to sneak around them. I've tried and failed. So they're not too difficult behind that level. You can take them out pretty quickly. Once you got them out of the way, or if you snuck past them, the actual boss is right there.
They had their heads up their asses. What else
Now,
can I say? Let's keep up
what
the
I'm gonna
pace,
do
shall we?
is I'm gonna attempt the boss fight. I won't show it just because it's gonna be really long. If there's anything I do need to show, I'll just cut it in. But most likely I'll cut back to the end of the battle, tell you how it went, and which persona I used that fared better. I'll be switching between Queen Mab and Seth throughout the battle, seeing which one performs better, which one you take more damage with,
Yours.
and
Give it to
obviously
me.
if the preparation we made with Yusuke will be enough to stop him from getting one shot. So next time you hear this voice, hopefully I'll beat this boss.
Here. Mission
And
complete.
there we go. We have completed
My
the Hound
stamina
from
will run
Hades
out
Howls quest. Now,
What is that?
what I have to say about that? A lot more difficult than I thought. Yusuke, pretty much everybody in the party died at least once. The only reason I think Joker got killed in the first place was because, without realizing it, I had a moth equipped after having to use this spell to revive pretty much everybody, and neglected to switch back, so he was pretty much incinerated. But
It's a
as
checkpoint.
a result of which of personas was better, I think it doesn't surprise anybody when I say that
Let's go.
Seth seemed to do a little bit better. I felt like I was able to not only maybe survive a little bit better with him, but with more balanced stats than Queen Ma. I think Seth overall is the better choice here,
Persona.
but Queen Ma is still a persona you can use, like I said, if you didn't luck out and get a skill card. No, I didn't know how to recover, didn't press that.
Queen Ma.
But just leveling up Queen Ma isn't gonna take too long, so just maybe get it up to a sufficient level, because even with Seth I was struggling to survive for very long.
Queen Ma.
So Queen Ma, maybe just level the persona up a little before you take it into this fight. But Yusuke,
Understood.
his agility boost I think helped a lot. There was multiple times where I was gonna die from one of his hits, because his hits do one-shot Yusuke sometimes. They will one-shot him. But luckily I was able to dodge with the auto-evade and do a strong counterattack because I have it maxed out.
All yours.
You could put anybody else in the other slots. I just have Senkichi and Makoto because they were my highest level party members. But you can have anybody else if you have like a healer you want.
Do it.
Like I could easily see Makoto being replaced with perhaps Morgana or Sophie, depending on if you have one of those healers higher level. Senkichi is a pretty solid choice just because of his strong attack and lots of health, but you don't need him in your party if you don't want to. You can have whoever you think is your strongest character. But that's pretty much all I gotta say from that fight. Any word of advice that I neglected to mention earlier? Definitely have lots of rescue pills or revival beads, anything that can res, because sometimes you might not just have enough time to use a spell to revive everybody. Maybe you just need to use a rescue pill. And some SP regaining items definitely helped during that battle, being able to give some to like Makoto and Joker so they could heal everybody.
Go ahead.
And
Leave it to me.
Yusuke, the main combo I suggest using with Yusuke is either his square triangle, where he does that, floats in the air and increases his critical in evasion, or square triangle. You can combo this for quite a while once you have all his master arts unlocked, and he'll finish it off like that. I think it leads into a one more combo, so that's pretty good too. But I mean, I think that's all I gotta say for that boss fight. Like I said, very difficult. If you play your cards right, you might be able to get it, but make sure all your characters are high enough level to endure this type of damage. Another thing that helped during this fight was having Futaba know a skill called, go to it, Final Guard. What it does is it'll protect one of your allies from an attack that will kill them. She will nullify the damage. That helped multiple times when I was playing Yusuke and I got a little careless. Final Guard saved my life.
It's time to head back.
So definitely recommend having Futaba know that skill.
All yours.
Another cool thing about Zenkichi is that his skill, I think it's called Enduring Soul, makes it so that he'll survive the first death in battle and come back, I believe, at full health. Yeah, when KO'd, revive with full HP once per battle. Definitely helpful. Zenkichi is pretty good when it comes to that. Also, another good thing to have Zenkichi in your party is his stat boosting moves. He has Heat Riser, which I used multiple times during this fight on Yusuke, Makoto, Joker, and this other stuff that you want, because the boss can buff himself, so if you want to use Dakaja, get rid of the stat buffs, that's useful too. But I think that's all I gotta say. Another thing, maybe capitalize on technical hits with Yusuke when he freezes the boss. Maybe switch to someone that does high physical attack damage, like Ryuji, or in my case Zenkichi. Zenkichi knows severe physical damage, so maybe you want to capitalize on him being frozen, you can do that too. But anything else, any questions, just leave them in the comments section, you know, like the video if it helped. Share it to a friend if, you know, they're struggling with this fight too, because it is a difficult fight if you don't know what you're getting into. But I think that's all I have to say. With that, hopefully this helps you, and goodbye.